Namaste, Dandavat Pranam, by the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj. We are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're also paying our humble Dandavat Pranam to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for providing us this wonderful commentary and translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, and following the guidance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we are also praying to Srimati Radharani. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has told us that unless we can understand something about Srimati Radharani within the 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam, then our study has been for waste. So we're praying to Srimati Radharani for her mercy. Yadi seva vanchitasya ma yasya kripaya vayam labema sarvam prapnuma prayojanam dhamni Shri Bhagavat pade Krishna sambandhi sarvam cha yadinha jani mahe tutam ashtadashasu sahasreshu Shlokanam Bhagavat Oktishu Radharanimna Vindamatada Nishphalam Bhagavat Adhyayanam Radhi Kaya Kripam Vina Vyartasyat Sarva Padishrama. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Radharani within the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of Srimad Bhagavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Srimati Radharani, all our efforts are in vain. So we are continuing from Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 29. Talks between Nārada and King Prācīnabarhi, texts 29.1a through 2a. Sarvesham eva jantunam satatam deha poshane ashti pragya samhayata kovisheshas tadhanunam Labdve hante manusyatvam hitva dehadyasad graham atma shritya vihayedam jivatma sa vishishyate. A desire to maintain body, wife, and children is also observed in animal society. The animals have full intelligence to manage such affairs. If a human being is simply advanced in this respect, what is the difference between him and an animal? One should be very careful to understand that this human life is attained after many, many births in the evolutionary process. A learned man who gives up the bodily conception of life, both gross and subtle, will, by the enlightenment of spiritual knowledge, become a prominent individual spirit soul, as the Supreme Lord is also. Purport. It is said that man is a rational animal, but from this verse we can also understand that rationality exists even in animal life. Unless there is rationality, how can an animal maintain its body by working so hard? That the animals are not rational is untrue. Their rationality, however, is not very advanced. In any case, we cannot deny them rationality. The point is that one should use one's reason to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for that is the perfection of human life. Text 29.1b. Bhakti Krishna Daya Jivesh Akunta Jnanam Atmani Yadisyad Atmano Bhuyad Apavargastu Samshrute. If a living entity is developed in Krishna consciousness and is merciful to others, and if his spiritual knowledge of self-realization is perfect, he will immediately attain liberation from the bondage of material existence. Purport. In this verse, the words Daya Jiveshu, meaning mercy to other living entities, indicate that a living entity must be merciful to other living entities if he wishes to make progress in self-realization. This means he must preach this knowledge after perfecting himself and understanding his own position as an eternal servant of Krishna. Preaching this is showing real mercy to living entities. Other types of humanitarian work may be temporarily beneficial for the body, but because a living entity is spirit soul, ultimately one can show him real mercy only by revealing knowledge of his spiritual existence. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivara Svarupoi Krishnara Nityadas. Every living entity is constitutionally a servant of Krishna. One should know this fact perfectly and should preach it to the mass of people. If one realizes that he is an eternal servant of Krishna but does not preach it, his realization is imperfect. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore sings, Dushtamana Tumi Kishera Vaishnava, Patistaratare Nirjanera Gare, Tava Harinam Kevala Kaitava. My dear mind, what kind of Vaishnava are you? Simply for false prestige and material reputation, you are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra in a solitary place. In this way, people who do not preach are criticized. There are many Vaishnavas in Vrindavan who do not like preaching. They chiefly try to imitate Haridas Thakur. The actual result of their so-called chanting in a secluded place, however, is that they sleep and think of women and money. Similarly, one who simply engages in temple worship but does not see to the interests of the mass of people or cannot recognize devotees is called Kanista Adhikari. Archayam eva haraye pujam ya shradhaya yate natad bhakteshu chanyeshu sabhakta prakrita smrta. Bhagavatam 11.2.47. Text 29.2b. Adrishtam drishtavan nankshid bhutam swapnavad anyata bhutam bhavad bhavisyachcha sutam sarvaraho raha. Everything happening within time, which consists of past, present, and future, is merely a dream. That is the secret understanding in all Vedic literature. Purport. Factually, all of the material existence is only a dream. Thus, there is no question of past, present, or future. Persons who are addicted to karma kan vichar, which means working for future happiness through fruitive activities, are also dreaming. Similarly, past happiness and present happiness are merely dreams. The actual reality is Krishna and service to Krishna, which can save us from the clutches of Maya. For the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Mam evaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Those who surrender unto me can easily cross beyond my illusory energy. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th Canto, 29th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Talks Between Nārada and King Prācīnabarhi. Text 30. The activities of the Prachetas. Text 1. Vidura uvacha yatvaye bihita brahman sutta Prācīnabarhi sa te rudra gitena harim siddhim apu pratosyakam. Translation. Vidura inquired from Maitreya, O Brahmana, you formerly spoke about the sons of Prācīnabarhi and informed me that they satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead by chanting a song composed by Lord Shiva. What did they achieve in this way? Purport. In the beginning, Maitreya Rishi narrated the activities of the sons of Prācīnabarhi. These sons went beside a great lake, which was like an ocean, and fortunately finding Lord Shiva, they learned how to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by chanting the songs composed by Lord Shiva. Now their father's attachment for fruitive activities was disapproved by Nārada, who therefore kindly instructed Prācīnabarhi by telling him the allegorical story of Puranjana. Now, Vidura again wanted to hear about Prācīnabarhi's sons, and he was especially inquisitive to know what they achieved by satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here the words Siddhim Apu, or achieved perfection, are very important. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.3, Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Out of many, many millions of people, one may be interested in learning how to attain success in spiritual matters. The supreme success is mentioned also in Bhagavad Gita 8.15. Mam upetya punarjanma dukalayam ashasvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. And what is that highest perfection? That is also explained in that verse. The highest perfection is to return home back to Godhead, so that one will not have to return to this material world and transmigrate from one body in the dream material existence, one body to another in the dream of material existence. By the grace of Lord Shiva, the Prachetas actually attained perfection and returned home back to Godhead, after enjoying material facilities to the highest extent. Maitreya will now narrate that to Vidura. Text 2. Kimbharhaspatyeha paratravata Kaivalya nata priya parshvavartina Ashadya devam girisham yadrichaya Prapul param nunam ata prachetasa. My dear Barhaspatya, what did the sons of King Barhisat, who are known as the Prachetas, obtain after meeting Lord Shiva, who is very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the bestower of liberation? Certainly they were transferred to the spiritual world, but apart from that, what did they obtain within this material world, either in this life or in other lives? Purport. All types of material happiness are obtained in this life or in the next life, on this planet or on another. The living entity wanders within this material universe of so many species of life and so many planetary systems. The distress and happiness obtained during the span of life are called iha, and the distress and happiness obtained in the next life are called paratra. Actually, Lord Mahadev, Shiva, is one of the great demigods within this material world. Generally, his blessings bestowed on ordinary people mean material happiness. The predominating deity of this material world, Durga, is under the control of Lord Mahadev, Girisha. Thus, Lord Mahadev can offer anyone any kind of material happiness. Generally, people prefer to become devotees of Lord Girisha to obtain material happiness, but the Prachetas met Lord Mahadev by providential arrangement. Lord Mahadev instructed them to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he personally offered a prayer. As stated in the previous verse, Rudra Gitena, simply by chanting the prayers offered by Lord Shiva to Vishnu, the Prachetas were transferred to the spiritual world. Sometimes devotees desire to enjoy material happiness also. Therefore, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the devotee is given a chance to enjoy the material world before his final entrance into the spiritual world. Sometimes the devotee is transferred to a heavenly planet, to Janaloka, Maharloka, Tapaloka, Siddhaloka, and so on. However, a pure devotee never aspires for any kind of material happiness. The pure devotee is consequently transferred directly to Vaikuntha Loka, which is described here as Param. In this verse, Vidura asks Maitreya, the disciple of Brihaspati, about the different achievements of the Prachetas. thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 3 on Friday. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Dev, Srila Acharya Dev Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees. Sama Bhaktivedanta Vrindi Ki Jai, Jai Navadup Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai, Ganga Mai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan, Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Shamkund Radhakund Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Scientific Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai Nitai, Gaur Pringanandi, Hari 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 Bol.